ఎందరో మఖానుభావులు ఎందరో మఖానుభావులు అందరికీ వందనములు ఎందరో మఖానుభావులు.
The word Manohar is from the Sanskrit term. Manohar means capturing mind. The dancers of Manohar want to capture the mind of the audience.
Manohar really captured the essence of what theater is for me.
There's something about dance that touches us, I think, very, very deep, physically, viscerally. And yeah, it is difficult to put that into words.
It doesn't matter whether it's real or not, it is real.
That's the experience I have with dance. When we go to do a show, I love going into the theater. I love the musty smell of studio.
My husband knows all the songs because I'm practicing literally while I'm chopping my vegetables for dinner. And then I'll stop and I'll do a pose and he'll be like, put down the knife.
Dance, it's good. We like it.
And we're done.
Manohar started as a concept in 1991, and it became an independent company in 1993, which makes this our 20th anniversary.
Those who had learned Bharatanatyam first, and later on joining Manohar would be the dancers who learned Kathak. They have learned it. Where do they go with what they have learned? Manohar then was formed in order to give them a venue to use what they have learned, this pretty hard to learn this kind of dance style, and they wanted to maintain that. At the same time, it is not a decision made by one person that they are performing. It is the collective decision of the dancers themselves, what they do, how do they train for that, and how do they present it to the Winnipeg audience.
Manohar is a collective.
Yeah.
It began as a collective and it remains a collective. And that means that we all know individually and as a group that when we aren't perfect about something, we can rely on someone else to fill that gap in our weaknesses.
It was a wonderful feeling to realize that you can make it work. A collective group of dancers who can, through their sweat and tears sometimes, pull all that together to present a visual story on stage.
त्रिदलं त्रिगुणाकारं त्रिनेत्रं च त्रियायुधं त्रिजन्म पापसंहारम् एकबिल्वं शिवार्पणम् त्रिशाखै बिल्वपत्रैश्च अच्छिद्रै कोमलै शुभै तव पूजां करिष्यामि एकबिल्वं शिवार्पणम् कोटिकन्या महादानं तिलपर्वतकोटयः काञ्चनं शैलदानेन एकबिल्वं शिवार्पणम् काशीक्षेत्रनिवासं च कालभैरवदर्शनम् प्रयागे माधवं दृष्ट्वा एकबिल्वं शिवार्पणम् इन्दुवारे व्रतं स्थित्वा निराहारो महेश्वरः नक्तं हौष्यामि देवेश एकबिल्वं शिवार्पणम् रामलिङ्गप्रतिष्ठा च वैवाहितकृतं तथा तटाकानि च सन्दानम् एकबिल्वं शिवार्पणम् अखण्डबिल्वपत्रं च आयुधं शिवपूजनम् कृतं नाम सहस्रेण एकबिल्वं शिवार्पणम् उमया सह देवेश नन्दिवाहनमेव च भस्मलेपन सर्वाङ्गम् एकबिल्वं शिवार्पणम् सालग्रामेषु विप्राणां तटाकं दशकूपयो यज्ञकोटिसहस्रश्च एकबिल्वं शिवार्पणम् दन्तिकोटिसहस्रेषु अश्वमेधशतक्रतौ कोटिकन्या महादानम् एकबिल्वं शिवार्पणम् बिल्वानां दर्शनं पुण्यं स्पर्शनं पापनाशनम् अघोरपापसंहारम् एकबिल्वं शिवार्पणम् सहस्रवेदपाठेषु ब्रह्मस्थापनमुच्यते अनेकव्रतकोटीनाम् एकबिल्वं शिवार्पणम् अन्नदानसहस्रेषु सहस्रोपनयनं तथा अनेकजन्मपापानि एकबिल्वं शिवार्पणम् बिल्वाष्टकम् इदं पुण्यं यः पठेत् शिवसन्निधौ शिवलोकमवाप्नोति एकबिल्वं शिवार्पणम् एकबिल्वं शिवार्पणम् एकबिल्वं शिवार्पणम्
Winnipeg is a multicultural society, but the meaning of that will only work to the extent that we can all share our culture to each other. When British Raj became familiar with the spices of India and wanting to capture spices, along with that the silks of India, and pretty soon it doesn't take too much time to recognize that beyond that we also have the art forms. So along with the spices and the silks, pretty soon, I think the Western world started to get an idea of what all these exotic dance styles and musical forms of India. Traditionally, I remember growing up in this time, in this way of, telling stories to your children. I have heard stories like that in a musical format. And it doesn't take long at all to realize dance can pick it up from there and tell a story. It all started from the folk tradition. It came from listening to folk music. That was a very well-known music that we thought, hey, isn't that nice to have that music recorded? We would all sing that song, so we recorded that. And it doesn't take long to recognize there is a tale that can be danced to. So Valli Kalyanam came. I think Manohar is like lighting a lamp. One person lights a lamp to the other. One has still retaining that lamp in their hand while they have lighted a lamp into another person's hand.
तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः ठुमक 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 चलत रामचंद्र 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 बाजत पैजनिया ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र मोदक रसाल मन भावे सो लेहु लाल और लेहु रुचिर पान और लेहु रुचिर पान कंचन झुनझुनिया ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र बाजत पैजनिया ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र ठुमक ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र ठुमक ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र ठुमक 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 चलत रामचंद्र बाजत पैजनिया ठुमक ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र बाजत पैजनिया ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र बाजत पैजनिया ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र
परमेश्वर उमा महेश्वर जय परमेश जय शिव शंकर जय परमेश्वर उमा महेश्वर जय परमेश त्रिभुवन सुंदर जय गंगाधर जय जय गौरी के हृदय
त्रिभुवन सुंदर जय गंगाधर जय जय गौरी के हृदय
जय शिव शंकर जय परमेश्वर उमा महेश्वर जय परमेश त्रिभुवन सुंदर जय गंगाधर जय जय गौरी के हृदय जय शिव शंकर प्रलय घन घटा भरी भुवन में विनाश डंका बजे गगन में प्रलय घन घटा भरी भुवन में विनाश डंका बजे गगन में तांडव तन में तांडव मन में तांडव तन में तांडव मन में धरती नाचे सागर नाचे नाचे उठे कैलाश नटेश तत्तोम तत्तोम तर तदन तदन धीरना धीरना धरे धरे तत्तोम तत्तोम तर तदन तदन धीरना धीरना धरे धरे तत्तोम तत्तोम धरे धरे तदन धीरना धीरना धरे धरे तत्तोम तत्तोम तदन दानि तदानि तत्तोम तत्तोम तदन दानि तदानि तदन दानि तदन दानि धीरना तदन दानि तदन दानि धीरना तत्तोम तत्तोम तदन दानि तदानि तदन दानि तदन दानि धीरना 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 तन धीरना तन धीरना
incorporating both Kathak and Bharatanatyam in a dance form was not even happening in India till very recently.
Krishna Priya we performed in 1995, I believe, and it was somewhat of a historic piece in that it was the sort of occasion for many first times. For example, it was the first time that a Manohar show had been completely based on the North Indian classical system of music. That was the first time. It was also the first time that we incorporated Kathak, North Indian dance style, into our pieces, juxtaposing it with Bharatanatyam.
Yeah. It was actually conceptualized by Usha
for the first time.
And so Jankar's school of dance, I guess, joined Manohar for the first time. We were the two seniors, so I led the Kathak, she led the Bharatanatyam, but by the end of the production, we were all together, and it just conceptualized that, why did Kathak, but then I went over to Bharatanatyam also, why not? I knew the art, and it also showed that Krishna belonged to all gopis of all forms, so it worked out really well.
ये बहुत खुशी थी कि हम दो क्लासिकल डांसों को, जो एक नॉर्थ इंडिया से एक साउथ इंडिया से, को ब्लेंड कर रहे हैं और उसको दोनों डांसों को एक साथ दिखा रहे थे उस समय. सो बहुत ही बढ़िया एक्सपीरियंस था, लड़कियों को भी और हम सबको भी.
First part of the show was happiness, Krishna with his gopis, flirting, getting to know them.
Fun and games, yeah.
Fun and games, the love that, and the bonds of love that are formed in Krishna's interaction with the gopis. And then, of course, at the end of that first half, Krishna then tells Radha, who has fallen in love with him, he has also fallen in love with her, but he says, I have to go now. Her crestfallen, her heart being broken, the whole second part of the show is that sad rasa.
It was actually the first time that I had to portray a sensual emotion, which is, it's very Bharatanatyam, very traditional, and then on top of that, it's with Moa, who I've grown up with. How does that work? But it was an emotion that I think I discovered for the first time.
Throughout all these folk tales, as you demonstrate, perform for those dances, buried in there is also philosophic meaning of life in general and how to overcome hardship. All of that are buried in those tales. So reflections of Krishna pointed out how Krishna came again and again to help mankind overcome difficulties.
When I have doubt, when I am surrounded by danger, then do I feel Krishna's presence. He protects me from harm and watches over my sleep.
Thus did the children of Vrindavan see Krishna when he vanquished the serpent Kalia and danced on its bowed head.
Tam dim taranada dinadagida 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 tam dim taranada tam dim taranada tam dim taranada ditta digita 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 tam dim taranada ditta digita 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 tam dim taranada yamuna tadaga bange ruga padam dim taranada yamuna tadaga bange ruga padadi dadadi dadara nayanaya saga mo ida jagadiga tam dim taranada Tamidadajam, tagadajam, tagadigadajam, tam tamidadajam, tagadajam, tagadigadajam, tam tamidadajam, tagadajam, tagadigadajam, tam tamidadajam, tagadajam, tagadigadajam. रजं तां नीलमनोगरजाल विभूषण निरत जल भुजंग नर्तन नीरज दलाद गतिक मृदुल पद निकट तरंगो तुंग तादंग नर्तक नर्तकता तगदै तगत दिविति यत तगत आगिट नगतरत कृतजनं दं तगजगण कृतजनं यमुना तटाक तुंग तरंगं किमगरस्ति विदरमित शुभं इरस्ततच्चर करुणा भांगं यतिवर हृदय सरोर्ग भृंगं दिनत दिल्लान दुर्गुणकत दिल्लान दिनत दिल्लान दुर्गुणकत दिल्लान तिलक सिंदूर अलग श्रृंगार वदन गंभीर उरगबन संचार तिलक सिंदूर अलग श्रृंगार वदन गंभीर उरगबन संचार नंद सुकुमार नवनीत दतिशोर चंदमणिगार जलजभुवन तीर नंद सुकुमार नवनीत दतिशोर चंदमणिगार जलजभुवन तीर नंद सुकुमार नवनीत स्वच्छंदमणिगार जलजभुवन तीर जय विजयी भव नंद कुमार व्रज परमानंद किशोर काढ़ीय नट नंद गंभीर करुणार सहित भाव शरीर धीम तताम तदै दिरि ततिविद कुटजुडु धीम तताम तदै दिरि ततिविद कुटजुडु धीम तताम तदै दिरि ततिविद कुटजुडु जुगुणक नंदरि तकटक जरि दिवि गदागु दिवि ततिविद कुटजुडु व्रजकुमार महिमालं मनमाला धुरंधर कृत कृताकार तज्जं तत्तगजं तत्तगणं तत्तकुर्रं तत्तजज्जं तत्तगजं तत्तगणं तत्तकुर्रं तत्तागुजनंदरि ततगुजनंदरि तज्जनंदरि ततिविद कुटजुडु अद्भुत नर्तन चित्रित मुद्रित विद्युत अद्भुत तागुजनंदरि ततगुजनंदरि तज्जनंदरि ततिविद कुटजुडु अद्भुत नर्तन चित्रित मुद्रित विद्युत मुद्भव अद्भुत तागुजनंदरि ततगुजन ताज्जनंदरि ततिविद कुटजुडु दिदिदुत काल विदिदुत शील गतिशय नी ऋतपदलोल तागुजनंदरि ततगुजन ताज्जनंदरि ततिविद कुटजुडु दिदिदुत काल विदिदुत शील गतिशय नी ऋतपदलोल तागुजनंदरि ततगुजन ताज्जनंदरि ततिविद कुटजुडु ततिविद तत्त्वं तत्तै कडकडकडं आकुजनंदरि ततकुजनं ताज्जनंदरि ततिविद कुटजुडु तद्दिम्मितिद्द यत्तर कडकडगजं कडकडदिम्मितिद्द यत्तद्दिम्मितिद्द यत्तर कडकडगजं कडकडदिम्मितिद्द अतिशय सुख निरुपमकरवाद्जं कडकडदिम्मितिद्द अतिशय सुख निरुपमकरवाद्जं कडकडदिम्मितिद्द सरसमोग मुरलीरवनाद सकल लोक सम्मोहन गीत सरसमोग मुरलीरवनाद सकल लोक सम्मोहन गीत तरितजं तकतरितजं तकिट कुदुंग कतैकतां तदों तदैत करकमल धृत अभयव प्रतत कुदिन्न तगदिन्नं गटतगतादैतां तदादैतां तकुदिन्न तगदिन्नं गटतगतादैतां तदादैतां दुर्गगटतगदिन्नतां तदादैतां कदम्ब किदलय मिलित नूपुर पतंजलित कृतपादतां कदम्ब किदलय मिलित नूपुर पतंजलित कृतपादतां दिल्लार ऋगदिल्ला नृगदृगदिल्ला नागिटतं कण्णन्नं गिट्टद्दं गत्तैकत्तं दक्कत्ता किटतरि तकतणंगु तकतं कडकडं तां दधीं तदों तदै तिटजोरकबन्त तद्भुजंग सरसी चरणं चल कृतनं वदनं जित चन्द्रमदङ्कर कङ्कण सिञ्चित नन्नन पततकतकति विधि जडुजुडुतां तदात्तदिल्ला नगनग भूषण तकिट तगत्तगाय बुगपरमन्द स्मितधरवर पूजित पदयुगल हरि जय विजयी भव नंद कुमार व्रजजन परमानंद किशोर काढ़ीय नट नंद गंभीर करुणार सहित भाव शरी रमद मधुकर मधुपधरल समनयन कमल दल चलन मुनि हृदय बिचोर चातुर दयाकर मुरारिकर
I ended up working on Tasha Desh, the Kingdom of Cards, and it was, we did it in English firstly.
This one is about a prince named Siddharth, and he has this quest for adventure and exploring the unknown. And he goes to this traveling companion whose name is Sahadev, and I play the traveling companion in the production. And I'm sort of the storyteller to the audience on where that journey takes us, in fact. And we come to a kingdom of cards, which is what Tasha Desh means, is the land of cards. We come across a system that's very rigid, and he is really the spirit of youth and liberty to sort of encourage freedom of expression, and that's where the show That's what the show talks about, actually.
What was special about it is that the following spring it was done in French.
Que dirait votre mère, la reine, à cette envie de liberté?
Elle dirait que tu ne peux pas dissimuler tes sentiments aussi bien que tu le penses, mon fils. Ne me cache pas ce qu'il y a dans ton cœur.
I think it really pushed us to think about how to storytell something, an Indian story, in a humorous way. What probably surprised us was the first time we heard the audience laugh, because we knew it was funny, and then I think all of us backstage were thinking, oh my goodness, they're laughing.
The essence of theater for me is storytelling, telling a good story.
In Yatra, we had created that show in 1996 for the Multicultural Partner Abuse Prevention Project. And it was the story of a woman who encountered spousal abuse. It's a very difficult, dark place to be speaking out of. What we wanted to show is how she became empowered by finding the goddess within herself. There were some places where there were no myths that addressed where we needed that story to go. And so then at that time we were creating those myths. We were creating stories that embodied the metaphor, because myth is metaphor.
Mother, protect me. Face for me what one woman alone cannot face.
To give us a scaffold upon which to enact that empowerment that gave the story an arc and made the main character a completely different person by the end of the story than she was at the beginning of the story, even though she had not moved in space or time. How does the goddess, as a mother, react to her child, her daughter, having been abused by her partner? This wasn't a story that exists in the canon, so we had to try to create it within a song about a mother's love for her child. And in that you see the mother, the goddess as the mother, grasping the face of her daughter and touching the bruise and just saying it's going to be okay. She didn't need to even say it in any words. It appeared on her face and became so clear in the byplay between the two dancers that the audience knew exactly what was being seen, what was being made whole. And for the dancers, every time they rehearsed that moment, they would start to cry.
We did Ashoka, technically called The Conquest, in '98.
I must tell you that of all the roles that I've done with with Manohar, which in fact is about 6. It was my favorite. I really truly enjoyed creating that role, that character. It was truly a different inspiration to create the emperor, and it was a very special character. This relationship that he had with the monk in that play.
They had approached me to be in this role, and I was like, okay, yeah, that'll be fun to get back to Winnipeg and to dance with you guys. It's been a couple of years. But I went through the script, and, it was just, I was the monk, and Somi was Ashoka, and there was no dance roles. The dance pieces, and it was just script, and it was just me and Somi, and I never went off the stage.
Can I aid you? Do you want some water?
I am the king. I am alive. I'm breathing. My blood runs like fire. Everyone else is dead, but I am alive. Do I look in need of extreme unction, monk?
The way that story was set up, it's like everything is being sort of seen through the flashbacks, because Ashoka has to participate in these flashbacks about his life. The monk never gets to leave the stage. Mm-hmm. So the monk is as though someone is telling him these stories and responding emotionally while these flashbacks are going on. So then once we had sort of the framing sequence of Ashoka and the monk, then the actual dramatic things would all be flashbacks. It was very strange to realize that if we did a lot of dancing, then the flashbacks don't work, because part of what made it a flashback was that there was dancing in it. And so the less we danced, the more compelling.
Kalinga will pay for its resistance in suffering. I knew I could break that glassy calm. Go on, monk. Beg for their lives. So hard to live, so easy to die. They will ask you for death, monk. Every moment you make me linger.
I concede. I concede it all.
Between the emperor and the monk, who brings him to go back on his life and to relive some of these moments in his life that were very that formed him as a person, going back to his childhood, if I recall correctly.
What do you remember, Ashoka?
No, I will not remember. Monk, have pity. I am afraid. I am cold.
What frightens you so?
I am afraid to look into my mind, because I will die of what I see buried there.
How this man would relive and regret many of the things that he had done. He was a violent person. He lived in very violent times.
The sun cannot set on my kingdom. Let it be proclaimed.
After this battle, there was a huge battle, and after the battle, where so many thousands of soldiers had died, he decided that there would be warfare would no longer be part of his life, and it's the monk that brings him to that realization and to confess, in fact, to the monk. And he embraces Buddhism, and he becomes such a peaceful man. And that has been the life of so many conquerors. I take refuge in the truth.
It comes out through abhinaya, which is mime, emotive dance. And what the dancer is working with is poetry in any number of different languages. It's a song, a particularly poetic song, which captures a poetic moment that sheds light on the story. It doesn't necessarily move the story forward, but it moves the emotion forward.
Like a diver diving deep, finds a pearl at the bottom of the sea. I am reaching out for you. Why do you elude my grasp?
Now, the poetry that we traditionally use comes from a variety of Indian languages, but very few of us all speak those languages. Since we were working with the translations of poems in languages we didn't speak, we then started working with poetry that was in a language we did speak, that we all spoke. So translating English poetry into abhinaya allowed us to take words that we could feel, that we could chew on, and create an expressive mime around those words. So really it's dancing to the spoken word.
In a flash, at a trumpet crash, I am all at once what Christ is, since he was what I am. And this Jack.
Joke.
Poor potsherd.
Patch.
Matchwood. Immortal diamond. Is immortal diamond.
The stone grows old.
Eternity is not for stones.
I shall go down from this airy space,
this swift white peace,
this stinging exaltation, and time will close about me, and my soul stir to the rhythm of the daily round.
Yet, having known, life will not press so close, and always I shall feel time ravel thin about me.
For once I stood in the windy white presence of eternity.
जमुना के तट पर मुरली बजावत कृष्ण मुरारी, मुरली की धुन सुन निरत करत कर आई राधे 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 की दिखाई राम थाई तत थाई ठीक राधे की दिखाई राम थाई तत थाई ठीक राधे की दिखाई राम थाई तत धी ना धी धी कत धी धी ना ती करती ना तेरी के तू ना कत्ता धी धी ना धी धी धागते के धागते के धागते के धागते के धागते के धागते के गगन ना दे 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 तान दा 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 ये के धागते के धागते के काट के दिखे के काट काट के दिखे के काट काट के दिखे गगन गगन ना के धागते 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 के धा 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 धागते के धागते के धागते के धागते के धा 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 धागते के धागते के धागते के धागते के धा धा धी ना धी धी कत धी धी ना धी धी ना ती कटी ना ती के तू ना कत्ता धी धी ना धा 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 के दूंगा धा के दी धा 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 करता के धा धक्का दूंगा धक धका धा ते का धका धा नहीं तक नहीं आ नहीं तक नहीं धा धन तकत कत धान धान धा धन तकत कत धान धान धा धन तकत कत धान धान धी ना धी धी कत धी धी ना धी कटी ना ती के दी तू ना कत्ता धी धी ना कत्ता ता दे दा दे दा तत थाई ता दे दा तत थाई तत थाई ता दे दा तत थाई तत थाई एक दो ता दे दा तत थाई ता दे दा तत थाई तत थाई ता दे दा तत थाई तत थाई एक दो ता दे दा तत थाई ता दे दा तत थाई तत थाई ता दे दा तत थाई तत थाई ना धी धी कत धी धी ना धी करती ना तेरी के तू ना कत्ता धी धी ना धी देख धा देख थाई ता थाई तत ता ता एक तत दो तत तीन तत चार तत पाँच ना धी कत धी ना ती करती ना तेरी के तू कत्ता धी ना धी धक दे धक दे धक दे धक दे धक दे ना दे धक दे धक दे धक दे धक दे धा 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 कत दे धक दे धक दे धक दे धा 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 कत दे धक दे धक दे धक दे धा 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 एक दो तीन चार पाँच धक दे धक दे धक दे धक दे धक दे ना दे धक दे धक दे धक दे धक दे धा 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 कत दे धक दे धक दे धक दे धा 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 कत दे धक दे धक दे धक दे धा 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 एक दो तीन चार पाँच धक दे धक दे धक दे धक दे ना दे धक दे धक दे धक दे धा 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 कत दे धक दे धक दे धक दे धा 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 कत दे धक दे धक दे धक दे धा 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 धी ना धी कत धी ना ती करती ना ती के तू ना कत्ता धी ना
I caught this morning morning's minion, dappled dawn-drawn falcon, in his riding of the rolling level, underneath him steady air, and striding high there, how he rung upon the rein of a wimpling wind in his ecstasy. The hurl and gliding rebuffed the big wind. My heart in hiding stirred for a bird, the achieve of, the mastery of the thing.
Some pieces of music you really just want to dance. They're just so beautiful, they just take you somewhere so different that you just feel like you have to dance them.
Listen to this expression. They say you have sung this song so much from your heart. But this expression they forget. In heart also it comes from somewhere. From where did it come to the heart? It came to heart from somewhere, and that somewhere is so subjective. I listen to the ideas, keep thinking about that, then I leave it. And suddenly the idea comes, it pops up. It comes, the idea is there, And the entire composition comes like this in a platter to you.
All you're doing is just immersing yourself in music and just dancing that dance over and over again, or even listening to the music over and over again. It really teaches you something more, something that I feel like you really learn on your own. No one can teach you that.
The dancers here in Winnipeg especially, they are so well trained, and they are so much full of enthusiasm, and so much, they are themselves so creative that it is a lot of fun working with them and for their projects.
जुल्फ बिखरे तो शाम हो जाए, आंख छलके तो जाम हो जाए, बात दुनिया में राज़े उल्फत की छुपते छुपते भी आम हो जाए।
उसने रुख से हटा के बालों को, उसने रुख से हटा के बालों को, उसने रुख से हटा के बालों को रास्ता दे उजालों को, उसने रुख से हटा के बालों को। जाते जाते जो मुड़ के देख लिया, जाते जाते जो मुड़ के देख लिया, और उलझा दिया ख्यालों को, और उलझा दिया ख्यालों को, उसने रुख से हटा के बालों को। एक हल्की सी मुस्कुराहट से, एक हल्की सी मुस्कुराहट से, उसने हल कर दिया सवालों को, उसने हल कर दिया सवालों को, उसने रुख से हटा के बालों को। Pama bani dani zare zare ni zani pama pagam de sare ni sare sani sani pama bani sa pama pagam de ni sa मर गए हम तो देखना शफक, मर गए हम तो को याद आएंगे हुस्न वालों को उसने रुख से हटा के बालों को रास्ता दे दिया उजालों को रास्ता दे दिया उजालों को उसने रुख से हटा के बालों को
The reason why I wanted to join Manohar was, to be honest, is I was fortunate enough to grow up watching all of the older girls and the senior girls, like your Shamwa, Somya, Baby, Papia, Moa, Mohina, and I remember vividly sitting in the audience watching these girls dance, and as cheesy as it sounds, just being in awe of what they did and just wanting to emulate them.
I would come to class 15 minutes early to tie my ghungroo on, and in that time I would be watching the senior girls. They'd be dancing. And so that gave me a chance to see, okay, wow, this is sort of, the next thing. This is what I would be doing. This is what I can work towards.
You not only become dancers, but you become sisters, literally family. Whatever someone is going through, you go through it with them. Essentially it's sort of what you go through in the studio, you go with them as well. And so my sisterhood with Manohar is, it's given me so much strength. It's given me, at a time where I didn't think I could dance again, it gave me the opportunity to dance again, lift me up and dance again.
See, dance is not something that I do alone. It embraces others. So it helps me grow because I'm connecting with others, I'm communicating with others, and I'm learning from others as well.
As a Manohar member, we have other members as a collective that will keep each other in check. So if an idea isn't flying, you'll know very quickly.
It's dedication, it's time, it's patience, it's strenuous.
You are being entrusted with this knowledge that you are thought of as being good enough that you can take that, what you know, and you can also help it grow. It means that, the torch that the senior dancers have sort of begun to carry, you are part of that too.
ஆதரிப்பாய் என்னையே உன்னை பணிந்தாட வந்தேன் அன்னையே அனுதினம் ஆதரிப்பாய் என்னையே உன்னை பணிந்தாட வந்தேன் அன்னையே அனுதினம் ஆதரிப்பாய் என்னையே உன்னை பணிந்தாட வந்தேன் அன்னையே அதுதினம் ஆதரிப்பாய் என்னையே உன்னை பணிந்தாட வந்தேன் அன்னையே சாகரி சல்லி ரிசல்லிரா சானித பமா பதனி ஆட வந்தேன் அன்னையே Pada ni sari ga sari ni பதனி ஆட வந்தேன் அன்னையே காரி கரி தத பத சரி காரி கரி தத பத சரி தரி தத பகா பத தரி ரகா ரி கரி தாரி கரி ததா பா கரி சரி க பத ஆட வந்தேன் அன்னையே சாரி கரி தனி தமதனி சரி கரி சரி தனி தமத doni doni dama gari ga mada ni sa ri ga gama gari sa ni ri sa ni da mada ni aada vande annaye sa sa ri sa ni sa ri sa da ba ma pa da ba ni sa ri mari ma da ri sa ni da ni ni sa sa ri mari sa ri sa ni da ni pa ma pa ni ga da vande annaye ga ri sa ri ga ri ma ga ri sa ni da ni pa ma pa ni sa ri ga ma ga ri sa ri ni sa da ni ma pa ni sa ga ri sa ni da ni pa sa ni ma pa ni ga da vande annaye yanudinum ஆதரிப்பாய் என்னையே உன்னை பணிந்தாட வந்தேன் அன்னையே சகரி சனி ரி சனி த பாத மப நி த பத நி சரி சா ரி க சரி சனி த நி சா நி த ப கரி சனி த ப ம ப ni da pa ma ga ri sa pa ma ga ri ga ma pa da ni sa ri ga ni ga sa ri ri ni sa ri ni sa da pa sa ni da pa da ni sa ga ri sa ni ri sa pa ri sa ni da pa ma ga ma pa ni da pa sa ni da pa ma pa da pa ni da pa da ni sa ni sa ni da pa ma pa da ni sa ri pa ga ri ga pa ri sa ri ga ri sa ra pa da ni ga ri sa ga ri sa ni da ri sa ga ri ga sa ri sa ga ri sa ni da pa ma pa da ni sa ri sa ni da ri sa ni ri sa ni da ni sa ri sa ni da ni da pa ma ga ma pa da ni sa ni da pa da ni sa ri sa ni da ni sa ri ga sa ga ri sa ni da pa ni da pa da ni aada vande annaye yanudinum ஆதரிப்பாய் உன்னை பணிந்தாட வந்தேன் அன்னையே அன்னையே அன்னையே
It's a very organic process with Ushanti, so you really do need to wait for the right moment and be in the right setting and be in the right mood. The music has to be just the right amount of times you've listened to it, and she has the vision that she has, and it comes out when it comes out.
Oh my God! कहीं से नहीं आती सब ये दिमाग में बिठाने के लिए कोरियोग्राफी एनीथिंग यू वांट टू कोरियोग्राफ जो भी करना चाहते हो राइट उसका पहले ये सब्जेक्ट देखना चाहिए कि क्या कोरियोग्राफ करने जा रहे हो राइट किस तरह का गाना है क्या है या किस तरह का डांस कॉम्पोजिशन है जो कि और आप क्या उसको तैयार करना चाहते हैं क्या रूप देना चाहते हैं क्योंकि अभी तो वो क्ले है बिल्कुल ना तो कुछ वो बना हुआ है ना कोई लड़कियों ने प्रिपरेशन करी है ना कुछ ना हमने कोई एफर्ट किया है उसको साथ में जोड़ने का राइट
And she really has a feeling and an idea that of what she's looking for, and sometimes she may not herself even know what that exactly looks like yet until she sees it.
I watch, मैं बहुत ज़्यादा वॉच करती हूँ और डांस के बारे में, म्यूज़िक के बारे में, इसको नॉट ओनली डांस बट म्यूज़िक, वोकल, इंस्ट्रूमेंट, हर चीज़ को, बिकॉज अगर कोई ये कहे कि खाली डांस में एक्सप्रेशन है तो ऐसा नहीं है, वोकल में भी है, उतना ही एक्सप्रेशन है। इंस्ट्रूमेंट जो भी आप बजाते हैं या सोचते हैं, लाइक पोइट्री में, ये सारा आर्ट है। आर्ट को मैं एक तरीके से रिलेट करती हूँ कि अगर आदमी किसी को एक आर्ट पसंद है तो उसको नेचुरली दूसरे और भी चीज़ें पसंद होंगी। तो जितना आप अपना माइंड ओपन रखोगे हर चीज़ के लिए, उतनी आपकी सोच बढ़ेगी। एक्सप्रेशन तो हर एक के आए दिन की एवरीडे का रूटीन है कि कभी कोई दुखी है, कभी कोई बहुत हंस रहा है, कभी कोई सोच रहा है। तो ये तो एवरीडे तुम जब भी देखोगे सर उठा के, तुम्हें हर इंसान के अलग अलग एक्सप्रेशन मिल जाएंगे।
We laugh, we cry, we choreograph, and then we dance.
कैसे दिन बीते बीते, कैसे दिन बीते बीते उनके डर सभी न मोरा छतियारी माई छीन जिया लड़के। कैसे दिन बीते बीते, कैसे दिन बीते, कैसे दिन बीते, कैसे दिन बीते।
In 2002, Manohar did a production called La Bayadère, and it was quite explicitly based on the 19th century, late 19th century ballet, Petipa's ballet La Bayadère.
Well, since I did dance ballet for so much of my life, I was exposed to La Bayadère, and it was one of those very emotive kind of dances where there was a drama, there was the high stakes, there was the dance, there was the emotions. It was a lovely story.
La Bayadère was a new beginning for me, and it was it was a place where I had to play two dual roles. One of a tone lover, a loud tone prince, and then a prince who has to defend his crown. So he's torn between a love and his kingdom, and it's a different role because I had to switch between roles, and one role was very intimate with the temple dancer, which was played by Mohina.
Well, I guess with any relationship, it starts off very uncomfortable, right? You have to get used to each other. And that was the thing. Like, JD and I had danced together for such a long time already. We've experienced stage together, we've done pure dances together. But again, to put that emotional capacity to it, to have that chemistry that had to be created, because for the story to be credible, the drama really came out. I mean, when we were on stage, we were immersed in the story.
The story of La Bayadère has been told in many places, in many ways. In India, they might tell the story this way. Deep in the forest in the heart of the kingdom, there was once a temple, and at the heart of that temple, a sacred fire, eternal witness. Devoted Devadasi danced the rituals of the temple and sang of the soul's love for God. But one of the temple dancers had a restless heart. Nikila had pledged her life and her vows to God. But one day the warrior prince Surya passed through the forest, and when Nikila beheld him, everything changed.
गतया निशिरहसि निदीय वसन्तं चकित विलोकित सकल दिशा चकित विलोकित सकल दिशा रतिरभसा गदया ऋषि रहसि निलीय वसन्तं निलीय वसन्तं निलीय वसन्तम्
प्रिय चारु शील प्रिय चारु शील प्रिय चारु शील प्रिय चारुशील मुञ्चमयी मानव निदानम् प्रिय चारुशील प्रिय चारुशील सपदि मदनानलो दहति मम मानसम् देहि मुखकमल मदपानम् प्रिय चारु शील प्रिय चारु शील स्मरगरल खण्डनम् मम शिरसि मण्डनम् देहि पदपल्लव मोदारम् ज्वलति मयि दारुणो मदनकद नारुणो हरतु तदुपाहित विकारम् प्रिय चारु शील प्रिय चारु शील dere na nadir dir tum tana na dim tana dere na sani da pa ni da pa ma ga re sani sa pa na na tana na tana na tana na tana na na nom tom nadir tum ta dere da ni tana na tana na tana na tana na tana na na ta thai hi dei dei ta dei dei ya dei 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 ta 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 dei 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 ta 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 dei 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 ta 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 dei 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 ta 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 ha ta ta thai hi dei dei ta dei 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 ya dei 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 ta 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 dei 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 ta 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 dei 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 ta 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 dei 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 ta 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 ha ta ta thai hi dei dei ta dei 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 ya dei 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 ta 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 dei 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 ta 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 dei 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 ta 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 dei 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 ta 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 nadir tum tana na dim tana dere na nadir dir tum tana na dim tana dere na dim tana na tana tana na tana na tana dim tana na tana tana na tana na tana dim tana na tana tana na tana na tana dim tana na tana tana na tana na tana nadir tum tana na dim tana dere na nadir dir tum tana na dim tana dere na saga gare re sani sa saga gare re sani sa sani ne da pa ma pa sani ni da pa ma pa diklanda 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 dirga dirga tana na tana na tana na tana na tana na na nom tom nadir tom ta dere da ni tana na tana na tana na tana na tana na na nom tom nadir tom ta dere da ni tana na 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 nom tom.
The emperor's darbar was said to be the most beautiful and most dangerous place in the world. Prince Surya came to make his mark there. The emperor had plans for Surya, great plans. A marriage with the crown princess, the seat beside the throne. But then the high priest privately revealed the secret of Surya's love for the temple dancer and warned the emperor not to trust him. And unbeknownst to both of them, Princess Chandravati overheard Surya's secret.
Tadin jam tanam tatom நின்னையே எண்ணி நீதம் ஏங்கிடும் எனையாழ வந்த மன்னா மணிவண்ணா நின்னையே எண்ணி நீதம் ஏங்கிடும் எனையாழ வந்த மன்னா மணிவண்ணா மனம் கொள்ளை கொண்ட கண்ணா மனம் கொள்ளை கொண்ட கண்ணா இனி உனை கனவிலும் நனவிலும் நான் பிரியேனே மனம் கொள்ளை கொண்ட கண்ணா இனி உனை கனவிலும் நனவிலும் நான் பிரியேனே
Racked by remorse and anguish, Prince Surya sought solace in his chambers. In his dreams, Surya entered the kingdom of the shades, ruled by the Mohinis, ghosts of women who have died for love. Surya searched among the Mohinis for his beloved Nikila, but was trapped by the vengeful ghosts and enthralled. Just as morning broke, Nikila appeared to release him. The day of the royal wedding dawned. The high priest, mad with grief, awoke the power of the sacred fire. As the wedding party arrived, the priest conjured from the fire the image of Nikila, visible only to himself and Prince Surya. On the emperor's order, Surya and Chandravati approached the fire to take their vows. And the priest called upon the hungry fire to bear witness.
The story goes that the great choreographer George Balanchine, New York City Ballet, was walking down Fifth Avenue and saw the jewelry in Van Cleef and Arpels showroom and was struck by not just the beauty of jewels, but what they represented in terms of woman. We wanted to use ruby because ruby represented power and puissance. We wanted pearl because pearl represented romance and nighttime and loss and some very evocative emotions. Emerald was supposed to represent intellect and a sort of trickster quality. And one gem that we definitely wanted to use was the sapphire, which in the Indian context represents destruction, death, fortune, changeable fate. these jewels represent planets, and planets in a very astrological way are supposed to influence behavior, and this is a very huge part of Indian culture. The concept of gemology, astrology, and iconography are very hugely important factors, and that's something that we really wanted to explore in dance.
It was a multimedia production, so what we were doing in that show was Bharatanatyam dancers, they had a story that they were portraying on stage. And then the Kathak dancers had a series of videos that they were filming. It was just getting into that filming culture, which is so different, you know, the amount of wait time, the amount of preparation. And I remember one in particular, Pearl. It was a dance that we did on water, which is something, I mean, I'd never danced on water before on a stage. So what they did was they set up this huge, almost like a very shallow pool, and they covered it with water, and we were supposed to dance in that water. So we had our ghungroo on, we had everything on, and it was me and my partner, and we were just creating sound with water rather than just with our ghungroo.
Well, a dancer is like a goddess, especially in that piece where she had the vines and the makeup, was that she was some quality of the forest that had come to life, so that in a sense she was the forest, and that her dance, her movement was the forest expressing itself in these sort of quasi-human terms. The way that sequence was photographed was all done digitally. Ambient Empire did all of the photography and composite work using the pink screen process.
The story of the game itself is very, very powerfully relevant. I found it incredibly moving emotionally. because that story, even though it dates back thousands of years, those kinds of events are still happening in the world today. There are still far too many places in the world where women are treated as property, then they're traded back and forth between opposing sides in a war, and they're used and abused by the antagonists. And that is the story of the game, of one woman caught in the middle of a war.
The stories were basic human truths. I've been thinking about this a lot. Nowadays there are so many new interpretations of Shakespeare simply because the message, the actual story is so basically human, never mind the period or the place. And I think the drama, the East Indian dance drama, is the same kind of thing. It is different, but it is expressing something that's basically human, basically common to all humanity.
A simple game of chance. It's never wise to bet against our house.
The music and the dance just melded into one for me. I couldn't separate the two. I couldn't imagine seeing the dance alone or hearing the music alone. The two were inseparable.
I recall us, just stop. It would be practicing in the middle of a practice, and I would just have to stop everything and say, but I don't understand. Why would he give up his wealth? Why would he give up his kingdom? Why would he give up his woman, his love? And I needed to get into the mind of this man, who I had to later understand was a very tormented being. And I had to go somewhere even deeper within myself to pull out from somewhere else into the depths of somewhere to be able to exude that character. It was a challenge.
Movement vocabulary comes from many places, and the inspirations can be as ancient as yoga or as modern as contact improv.
Contact improv itself is about the principles of moving in unison with a partner, in contact with them. And contact can either be very, very delicate, even just through the fingertips, or it can be full weight bearing and anything in between. Full weight bearing meaning that you can actually physically lift somebody onto your body, support them, transport them through the space, and then place them down. Somi and Shamala had mentioned to me that they wanted to combine Bharatanatyam, and for key scenes in the production, they wanted to bring in elements of partnering, of actually lifting and moving the dancers through the space on the stage, which is something that's generally not seen in classical Indian dance.
Bharatanatyam traditionally never leaves the ground. In the game, we wanted to take this dance style off the floor. We explored with contact improv concepts of lifts and throws, which had never been part of our own training, but which made perfect sense as part of a much more modern story concept.
Art is fundamentally a comment on life as opposed to merely an exercise in aesthetic. And that what makes something art is when aesthetic is made to serve a comment on life. And Manohar absolutely achieves that.
I think Manohar is a company in transition in that it is going towards a vision of contemporary choreography. But contemporary choreography means maybe something different to every person who says that word. For me, contemporary is not letting go of the storytelling idea that we've evolved over the last 20 years.
And I think aerial technique is very much the same way. That yes, you can climb that rope and you can wrap into it and you can do funky splits, but what does that actually speak to your audience? Is that going to evoke some kind of emotion or tell some sort of story of who your character is supposed to be? And it's been a fantastic experience to try to take aerial dance in yet another direction, that it's not just circus arts, it's not just modern dance that happens to be on an apparatus. It can also be rooted in other forms of dance, in this particular case, Bharatanatyam.
Heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do ya? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty, and the moonlight overthrew ya. Well, she tied you to her kitchen chair, she broke your throne and cut your hair, and from your lips she drew hallelujah, hallelujah. Baby, I've been here before, seen this room, I've walked this floor. I used to live alone before I knew ya, and I saw your flag on the marble arch. Our love is not a victory march, it's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Maybe there's a God above, but all I've ever learned from love was how to shoot somebody who outdrew ya. It's not a cry that you hear at night, it's not someone who's seen the light, it's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Manohar has worked a lot with some very traditional North Indian Hindustani as well as South Indian Carnatic music. These are the canonical music sources for Kathak and Bharatanatyam. But there's a whole world of music out there.
I think we started off a certain way, and we have just, where we are now has just been a complete evolution. We are very well aware of our surroundings in terms of art and culture and what's happening around us, and rather than just staying in a box, we're always open to the idea of changing things, playing with different ideas.
I needed dance to teach me how to learn things, and I think it gave me a feeling of constant curiosity and almost invincibility. I feel like I could do anything.
The best way that I think I can explain what the purpose of dance is to go back to one of my teachers, Rachel Brown. I may not have the quote exactly right, but she said that dance is a way of expressing what cannot be put into words.
I dance because it gives me that satisfaction which I cannot get from any other thing.
It was fun, great people to work with, a good story, and knowing that eventually it would come out on stage in the full glory of the dance, the music, the colorful costumes. It was tremendous. I really loved doing it.
When we think back to the many productions that I was involved with you, this is the one thing that struck me between the East Indian culture and ours, that we were talking about the same themes. We're all universal themes, whether they be themes of love, of dominance, of treachery, of loyalty. They're all having to do, of course, with the human condition.
It's a real gift to be in a group of people, every single one of whom is willing to kick the bar higher than I would have ever possibly kicked it on my own. And so that means the bar is, it's up there so high that then dance is the thing that really stretches me to my limit.
राग मनोहर गाओ, राग मनोहर गाओ, मंगल मंगल गीत सुनाओ, मंगल मंगल गीत सुनाओ, राग मनोहर गाओ, राग मनोहर गाओ, मंगल मंगल गीत सुनाओ, मंगल मंगल गीत सुनाओ, राग मनोहर, राग मनोहर, राग मनोहर गाओ।
Sa
Ga Ding